Imagine, if you will, showing up for game night to play a game that a friend of yours has just recently purchased. They either plop down a book or a box onto the table, and you may make a character or choose a pawn for the game, and then you slowly begin to play. The experience now becomes interrupted by referencing the rules and longer than usual discussions about how the game is actually played and not actually playing it. You've begun to realize that this first night might not be as fun as your group is learning to play the game as you play the game. The aptly named Session Zero is intended to cut down on this part of playing a new game and is invaluable, especially when it is a brand new game. Perhaps you have recently become interested in tabletop role playing games due to a streaming show or a YouTube video or a conversation you overheard. You may be new to playing these games or have experience playing but are looking at trying your hand at running a game for the first time. Alternatively, you may run a game using one system, but you want to try something new. Regardless of your current experience level, it is crucial to recognize that to do so and to do it well takes some practice and learning. Some of you may start at the very beginning, while others have been playing for a very long time. Keep in mind that it's important to remember that the experience of learning comes in stages, which is normal for anyone. In the so-called traditional model of RPGs, you as the game master will be responsible for guiding emergent narratives of the game, as well as playing the roles of non-player characters and managing the rules while you do so. These skills are similar to, but different from, rules involved in co-op play or for solo games. There have been rumors floating around for a while about people who are not willing to run role-playing games, or that there's a shortage on GMs and people willing to run them. And if you search the internet, you'll find articles and videos discussing the topic. Some reasons for this perceived shortage may be valuable, while others may be speculation. It's important to remember that running these games is meant to be a fun pastime and not a second job. However, it's also important to understand that there is some learning involved. To help understand this learning process, we can use the 4 stages of competence. The first stage we have, which is pretty standard, is unconscious incompetence. At this stage, you are entirely unaware or only maybe partially aware of the knowledge and skills needed to run a tabletop RPG. You may have never played a tabletop RPG before, or you may have played one, but have now considered running your own game. You might not even know of the various game systems and the settings that you're available to play in. You might even feel uncomfortable about getting involved in such an activity. In this next stage, we develop conscious incompetence. You've learned that running a tabletop RPG requires some specific skills and knowledge. You may be at this stage already. You might start to do some research or seek advice from experienced GMs on how to run a particular game. Many videos, articles, and books are devoted to this part of playing tabletop RPGs, and they exist in the hundreds, if not thousands. You may feel anxious and uncertain about your ability to manage an emergent narrative. I mean, after all, we're doing this while we're managing the game's rules and we're trying to play the roles of NPCs effectively. It's okay. Everyone feels like an imposter at some point. You may make mistakes or struggle with keeping the game moving forward, but you are developing a better understanding of what is involved in running a tabletop RPG. So, from conscious incompetence, we move into conscious competence. Now you've learned the skills and much of the knowledge needed to run a tabletop RPG, but you still have to actively think about and concentrate on what you're doing. You might need to refer to the rule book and notes of your game to keep track of what's going on, or you may still feel like you're making mistakes and you're kind of uncertain at times. However, you're starting to feel more confident in your ability to run games, and you can kind of manage an engaging emergent narrative as you're going along while you're playing the roles of NPCs and managing the rules more effectively. So it's getting better. The fourth stage we develop is unconscious competence. At this stage, you have mastered the skills and knowledge you need to run a tabletop RPG. It's kind of funny that you would master something, right? But you can do it pretty fluently, and it's kind of done automatically. You can manage to and react to this emergent narrative players are developing at the table. You can really manage the rules without really referencing them anymore, making decisions about what's happening and how the rules affect that as you're going along. You can also play the rules of NPCs without really overthinking them. And this is all kind of done pretty smoothly and pretty efficiently. Running a tabletop RPG at this point has become almost second nature, and you are really fully enjoying the experience at this point in time. You may still encounter some unexpected twists and challenges as a result of what the players are doing, but the skills you have allow you to quickly adapt and keep the game moving forward. You may still search for tips and tricks and advice from time to time as you change to a different system or you move from fantasy to Western. We all do that. But the chances are you've read some books, you've seen some TV shows, you've watched some movies. Everybody's got Netflix or an Amazon account, right? So you should be pretty familiar about the genre expectations. However, no amount of watching other people play or listening to or reading advice is going to help you unless you actually run and play a game. So, with that being said, we've got some things left to talk about. One, you're going to forget things. Two, you're going to still get stuff wrong. You're going to make strange and inconsistent choices at times. Sometimes it won't be fun. Sometimes people are going to say they had fun when they didn't have fun because they don't want to hurt your feelings, right? You're the one who's bought the book or you're the one who's volunteered to play the game, and they want you to keep running it because they want to play. You'll need to read stuff. Even when other people tell you you don't need to read the rules, you should still read them. You'll need to fail at doing stuff a lot before you feel like you're getting better. Sometimes, as they say, less is more. You'll need to run a lot of games to keep progressing and learning. Nothing can replace practice as play and play as practice. And finally, remember, no matter what anybody tells you in person or on the internet, that only the people you are playing with know what's best for you and your table to have a good time.